You would think Niners Cowboys. Okay, those two teams, they suck this year, but usually those are the two teams that would be expected to play for this type of game. Super Bowl 50. Not the Panthers and the Cardinals. My God. The NFL has changed a lot. It's great. It's great, it's terrible at the same time because of targeting and all these other fines and penalties and drama off the field, like Johnny Manziel. So I know it's a little bit early. And again, this game's going to be great. It's going to be an instant classic, I hope. Let's look back at the NFC Championship games. I just want to prove my point here that this game's going to be a great game. Because we look at the past NFC Championship games, they've been great games. Let's keep the cycle rolling. We're going to go back. Super Bowl 46. Giants and the Niners were hosting the Niners hosted the Giants in the NFC Championship game. See who would go there. As a matter of fact, we can go a little bit further back. We can go back to Super Bowl 42, the NFC Championship game before that. I started watching Super Bowl. When I first started watching football, the first game I ever watched, Bears Seahawks, divisional round 2007. It was the road to Super Bowl 41 for the Bears, who they lost to the Colts. Great game. NFC Championship game, whack. Bears Saints. Bears destroyed the Saints in that game. Reggie Bush had a touchdown, but it wasn't enough for the Saints in their first ever championship game. Now you think Packers Giants, that game went into overtime. Third coldest is now the fourth coldest game in NFL history, behind the Vikings Seahawks from this year, the 1981 AFC divisional game, the championship game against Bengals and Chargers. And the Packers and Cowboys from 1967 NFC championship game. Game went into overtime. Giants were not even supposed to be there. They started 0-2. The Packers beat them 35-13 week 2 of the 2007 season. Now they're playing the NFC Championship game after the Giants beat the Cowboys in Dallas, the number 1 seed. I'm still very upset about that game. One of the 2 games I cried over. And they pull out the win in overtime. Lawrence Tynes missed 2 field goals in regulation, one to end regulation when he could have won the game. And in overtime, he wins the game for the Giants to go to the Super Bowl. Next year, you got the Cardinals and the Eagles. Again, you don't see these teams going to the Super Bowl ever. Eagles went to 2, never won. Cardinals had never been until then. Cardinals had a 21-0 lead. Eagles came storming back. They took the lead on a 62-yard touchdown to Deshaun Jackson from Donovan McNabb. It wound up being a great game, great finish for Arizona. They lost the Super Bowl to the Steelers, but still a great game against the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. 44, Saints Vikings. What? Vikings haven't been to a Super Bowl in almost 40 years. 33 years. Brett Favre and Drew Brees going to overtime. Another great game. Any game that goes into overtime is a great game. Let's just settle it right there. 45. I don't remember who the Packers beat to get to the Super Bowl when they beat the Steelers. But I do know they beat the Falcons. Oh, that's right, they beat the Bears. That game was whatever game. But they beat the one seed Falcons handily in the division round. That was interesting. 46, the Giants and Niners. Controversy. Gave the ball back to the Giants on a punt. Giants kick field goal in overtime. Go to the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots again. 47. Niners, Falcons in Atlanta. Falcons had a 17-0 lead. Niners came storming back to win the game. Another great game. '48. I don't remember who the Seahawks played to get to the Super Bowl that year. But they dominated in the Super Bowl. Dominated Denver. Just last year. Packers Seahawks. Packers had a 16-0 lead. 2 minutes left. In the fourth quarter. There's no way the Seahawks win this game. But then there's a guy named Brandon Bostic who can't hold on to an onside kick. Give the Seahawks back the ball. they wound up winning it in overtime on a touchdown to Jermaine Kearse. They lost to New England, but it was a great game. So about 7 of the past 8 NFC Championship games have been gone down to the wire. The AFC Championship games have been boring. New England, San Diego in 2008, when Patriots went undefeated, boring game. Colts, Jets, when the Colts went to Super Bowl, boring game. The NFC Championship game brings us a lot more excitement than the AFC does. And that's why this game is at night, by the way. This is probably why Fox put this game at night instead of during the day when the AFC is playing. So, this is going to be a great game. Cardinals, Panthers. The time has come, ladies and gentlemen. Who do I have as my NFC champion? Now, I hate to say this so much. I want Arizona to win, but I'm picking Carolina. I hate to say it. Absolutely hate it. It sickens me. Because if you've listened to the show since I started it 2 weeks ago, I've said numerous times, Carolina is so overrated. They cannot finish strong. And they lose to the bad team in Atlanta, who started 6-1 and missed the playoffs. But the Panthers have found a way to win games. No matter losing leads, dominating all the way, being whatever game, whatever it may be, the case may be, the Panthers always find a way to win games. Sort of like the Patriots. But in Denver, the Patriots don't find a way to win games. It's been a long time since the Patriots won in Denver. Long, long time. Very long time. So there you have it. And in case you missed it, in case you're just tuning into Steve and I Talking Football, S.U.T.F., who am I picking to go to Super Bowl 50? What is my Super Bowl 50 matchup? It's Denver and Carolina in Super Bowl 50. Broncos, Panthers. Now, I said the sports fans are going to say that Broncos, Panthers belong in the Super Bowl because they're both 1 seeds. That doesn't matter. What matters is how they play. Herm Edwards said this. You play to win the game. And the way these two teams play, and against who they're playing and where they're playing, it gives them the edge for these two teams to go to the Super Bowl. So, there's my NFC champion. On Twitter, at WritingFanatic2. On Facebook, at Steven III. Let me know. Who is your NFC champion? Who do you have playing in Super Bowl 50 on February 7th, 2016? Now, let's just... We have about 6 minutes left. So let's just go over... What if I'm wrong? There are 3 other matchups we can have in this game. Super Bowl 50, that is. What happens if... We'll start right here. New England, Carolina. Let's just say we have a rematch of Super Bowl 38 from 2004. What's going to happen? I was talking to my friend about this earlier. And I told her... If New England and Carolina meet in the Super Bowl, one, I'm not going to be happy about it. I don't want a rematch for the Super Bowl. I want something fresh. Even if it's Cardinals-Broncos, which is probably the last thing I want. I wanted Cardinals-Patriots, but we'll see what happens this Sunday. But if these two teams meet in the Super Bowl, again, it's going to be just like Super Bowl 38. And I was telling her, Tom Brady struggled against one quarterback in his career. One quarterback in his career. And that's Eli Manning. Cam Newton's a great quarterback. And he hasn't faced Tom Brady yet in his career. Not that I'm aware of. If these two teams meet in the Super Bowl, expect a great game. Cam will give Brady problems. He'll give that defense problems. And the defense will give Brady problems. That would be a great game. That would be a great game. It could be another Super Bowl 38. But it'll leave me number 3 kicking the game-winning field goal this time, not number 4, because number 4 went to Indianapolis. Now you give me Denver or Carolina. That game could be great too. They can go either way. I'm not gonna pick who I will have winning these games if it ever happens. And I'm definitely not picking I'm not picking the Super Bowl winner until February 5th, the last show before the game, big game. But Denver, Carolina would be a great game. Peyton would struggle early. I feel like he would struggle early. Carson Palmer will make a few mistakes, but Peyton will make more. And in the end, it would probably come down to the same thing as if it was New England, Carolina. It's last second field goal. The game can go to overtime. First Super Bowl, they go to overtime. Who knows? I just have a feeling it would be a great game if it was Denver against Arizona. So we have 4 different matchups here. I have Denver and Carolina in the Super Bowl. But it could also be Denver and Arizona. New England, Arizona. Now, if you give me... No, I missed that one, actually. If you give me New England, Arizona in the Super Bowl, it's going to be a great game, but only through about 3 quarters. And that's the matchup I want. It's going to be I don't want it to be great through 3 quarters. I want it to be great for 4 quarters. But this game will be great through 3 quarters. By the end of the game, New England is going to pull away. Because that's what happens. That's what happens when you play New England. Brady pulls away. The defense steps up and makes a big play at the end of the game to win it. James White catches another touchdown in the game. It's a 10-point game with a minute left. And then you have Carson Palmer playing in garbage time. They fill in a 4th down, the game's over. That's the way I see it if it's New England, Carolina. New England, Arizona. New England will win by 10 points. Denver, Arizona, either way, I'm not picking a team for that one because I couldn't pick one. They're both great teams. But here's something interesting about Denver and Carolina. Now, I'm not giving out too much because I want to save it all for the big week. Here on Steve and I Talking Football, S.U.T.F, starting next week, the day after the Pro Bowl, which I'm not going to talk about on next Friday because nobody cares about the Pro Bowl. The whole week will be dedicated to Super Bowl 50. Every episode will be dedicated to Super Bowl 50. So look forward to that. And then after the Super Bowl, we'll recap the Super Bowl on Monday the 6th. The 8th, excuse me, I'm off my date, so I have a lot of plans coming up. But after the 8th, from the 9th, and from then on, 32 teams in 32 days. We'll look over every single team, how their season went, what they need to fix. Maybe some of their opponents. We'll look into everything. 32 teams, 32 days, starting February 9th, here on Steve and I Talking Football, S.U.T.F. Now, Denver, Carolina, and here's what I'm going to end the show with this. You know what? If I tell you this now, I'm going to ruin everything. And I'll ruin my pick. If I tell you what'll happen in Super Bowl 50 if Denver and Carolina meet. So I'm just going to tell you. Catch me on Sunday at 2:30 on the NFL pregame show with Stephanie Diaz, Dylan Goldman, Josh Ilori, and Eric Watkins. I want everybody to enjoy their championship weekend. This has been Stephen Talking Football.